Hello, I'm back again. Well, I'm doing a gut reaction straight at the cinema. I literally got out about an hour ago from Killers of the Flower Moon, the latest historical epic from one of my favorite directors of all time, Martin Scorsese. How did it shape up? Was it any good? Is it one of his best? I'll get to all of those things in just a second. Let's talk about the story first. So, Killers of the Flower Moon is based on the true story of the Osage County Indian murders. It's set in the early 1920s. The story goes back slightly earlier than that, even. Osage County, which was Indian land. There was oil was discovered, and the tribal Indians there became very rich very quickly. And this, of course, attracted a lot of other people. So Osage County suddenly became the place to be for people to seek their fortunes, and, money was to be had. A lot of Indian women who, of course, had access to the oil rights, money rights, if you like, land rights, a lot of them married into white families. And then a lot of them started mysteriously dying young, meaning that they were giving their oil rights to either their court-appointed guardians or their spouses. It was later discovered that a lot of these accidental deaths were murders, many of them orchestrated by a man called William Hale, who in the film is played by Robert De Niro. Now, I had actually done my research quite extensively, because I am a bit of a history guy, on this subject before I went to see the film. So I kind of had a sense of what I was going to see, but I wanted to see how much the film diverged from history. And I have to tell you, it doesn't diverge from history much at all. It is pretty accurate in terms of the content. In fact, if anything, it concentrates the story, the narrative, on a smaller number of murders than actually took place. The story primarily centers around Leonardo DiCaprio's character, who is married to a native, well, he sort of, not initially, but he kind of picks her up in his taxi cab. He courts her. William Hale, his uncle, suggests that perhaps he might want to get married for financial reasons. They do so. Now, it's always very ambiguous as to where the heart of DiCaprio's character lies regarding certain things. He plays the character of Ernest Burkhart. What's not in doubt, though, is that he is a criminal. He has committed other criminal acts. He's not a decent guy, but he is conflicted over some of the things that take place. So you've got a powerhouse performance from DiCaprio here, looking his most grumpy all the way through the film. Powerhouse performance from De Niro, who isn't as physically imposing as he used to be in films when he was younger, but now this old man that he portrays carries as much menace with his performance as any of the stronger characters that he's played, or the younger characters that he's played earlier in his career. The acting, as you would expect from a Scorsese cast, is first class all round. There isn't a single weak performance in the film, in my opinion. Production design is first rate. There's a little bit of CGI here and there, but it's sparing and you can't really tell. So there's a number of new actresses that play the native Indian family, the family around which a number of the murders take place. You have Lily Gladstone playing the lead, DiCaprio's wife, effectively. Janae Collins, Gillian Dion. All of these actresses are really strong. I particularly liked one whose name isn't mentioned on this caption, but she's in the photo. And she's third on the right here, holding the fan, plays the character of Anna, and unfortunately comes to an unfortunate end. I'm sure we'll get her name a little bit further along. Martin Scorsese does pop up in a cameo in the movie, but not in this scene. So he must have just been sitting here giving Lily Gladstone some direction. This is Lily Gladstone's first big breakout role, I believe, and she's absolutely fantastic in the film. So production design, direction of the actors, art direction, all of that, you know, absolutely first class, as you'd expect. Now, the film is, there he is, Jesse Plemons. I'm going to come back to him in a second. The film is 3.5 hours long. It's showing in some cinemas with an interval. Now, our cinema said it was going to have an interval, but it did not. So I was a bit mystified by why it said it was going to have an interval and then actually did not have an interval. Almost everybody in that cinema had to go to the toilet at some point, which was kind of funny, but including me. But I dashed in and dashed out. I thought, this looks like a wordy scene. Let's get out now. Get back in before I miss anything important. And I think my timing proved to be pretty useful. This is DiCaprio's face throughout most of the movie. He is playing his sort of grumpiest role yet, but he's good. He's good in it. Jesse Plemons plays an FBI agent on behalf of J. Edgar Hoover, who came to investigate the murders, he's very good also. I like Jesse Plemons. I think he's a really good, even underrated actor. Tandu Cardinal plays an older Indian mother in the film. I don't know if she's an experienced actor. I'll go through the CVs a little bit. Brendan Fraser turns up in a cameo as a lawyer. He's also very good. And it's good to see Brendan Fraser getting roles. Now here, Cara Jade Myers. I predict big things for her. Just going to say that now. This is her first big breakout role. She's got about 15 credits on IMDb. About 7 of those are short films, a couple of other features. But this is really her first. This is the role that's going to get her noticed, and rightly so. I think she's going to be. I think she's got something. I think she's going to be big. I really like this actor, Louis Cancelimi. I've seen him in various kind of creepy roles before. He's always been pretty good. Do like him. And then we've got Barry Corbin. Now, Barry Corbin, a lot of you won't recognize him from this picture, but this is the general from War Games who says, I'd piss on the spark plug if I thought it would do any good. He's a great actor. It's great that he's still performing, still getting jobs. Lovely cameo from him in the movie. Not familiar with Michael Abbott Jr., but he was great. Like I said, all the cast are really exceptional in this film. These two doctors are proper dodgy. One of them is played by Steve Whitting. I'm not sure who the other actor is. They're kind of like the Doctors of Death. And now Takana Means, I suspect, is probably the son of Russell Means, the Indian actor who was in Dances with Wolves. Sturgill Simpson, I believe, is a country and western singer. Gary Basaba's a great character actor. So Tommy Schultz there. You've got a really strong cast in this movie. Gene Jones has been around for a long time. Ty Mitchell is an old cowboy actor. Great. He's great in this as well. So it's a really good, well-produced film, but I do have a bit of an issue with one thing, and that's the running time. Now, Scorsese's films, Goodfellas and Casino, and then you have The Wolf of Wall Street, are all very high energy, fast paced. This is a much slower burn, this movie, with a lot of room for the actors to breathe. I suspect some people will criticize Scorsese for saying that there's a bit too self-indulgence at play here. However, I think if anyone's earned the right to let his actors be self-indulgent at this stage in his career, it's absolutely Martin Scorsese. So it didn't bother me per se, but I did think that the film could have been shorter. Like I said, I did have to get up and go to the loo. There wasn't an interval where I was watching it. I did think that it could have been a bit shorter. It didn't have that flowing narrative style that many of his films have. As I said, this is much more of a slow burn, but it is a good movie. It is a good movie with first-class performances, an outstanding script. It is a film of two halves. It's really what happens when the murders are investigated and everything before that. Those are the two sort of segments of the movie. But I think really the second half of the film gathers pace a lot more quicker. I think the first half of the film probably could have been a bit shorter. And I don't know how much of the court case we really needed to see. That could have essentially been in the postscript. There's a very clever postscript instead of doing titles. I don't want to spoil it for people and explain what it is, but and Scorsese has a cameo in that section, but it is extremely clever the way that that's done. Do I think you should go and see it? Absolutely, yes. Does it need to be seen on the big screen? Not as much as some of his other work. It is a talking heads piece for most of but it does have some sumptuous scenery, some great shots, great production design. If you're a Scorsese fan, absolutely you should see it on the big screen. If you're a more disconcerting cinema goer, you may want to wait, because then when you watch it at home, of course, you can not worry about needing the loo. But it is a good movie. Where do I rank this? In terms of Scorsese's career, for me, it's definitely below Casino, Goodfellas, Wolf of Wall Street. I liked it more than Mean Streets. I liked it more than Raging Bull, simply because it just had more interesting characters, a diverse range of characters for me. I don't think there's any bleaching of history here. I think it's pretty accurate from the research I've been able to do. If anything, I think DiCaprio's character probably gets off more lightly. He's played with a conscience, and I think, to be honest, I'm not sure. It's difficult to tell from history whether the guy really had one or not, and to what degree he was in on all the shenanigans that were going on. But yeah, this is a good movie. Out of 10, I would probably give Killers of the Flower Moon 8.5. Solid, good film. Will I watch it again? Yes, definitely. Will I buy it to have the Blu-ray in my collection along with my other Scorsese films? Don't know about that. It's a film I want to watch once more, but I don't know that I'm going to want to watch it every year. Whereas Goodfellas, Casino, I watch both of those every year. I watch Wall Street probably every other year. Wolf of Wall Street, that is, not the Martin Sheen one. But it is a good film. But it's heavy. It's heavy, and it's not as. It doesn't have, Goodfellas and Casino and Wolf of Wall Street have a lot of scenes that are very funny. This doesn't have that humor. It is, and that's all to do with the time in which it was set. It's a different time. But yeah, absolutely worth your time. I do recommend it. 8.5 from me. That is my gut reaction review. I am back tomorrow at 9 p.m. with Dark Hour. We are diving deep into Our Friends in the North tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Going to be talking all about it. And then next week, I've got the director of the first 3 episodes of Our Friends in the North coming here for an interview. Stuart Urban himself, the man who also directed an Ungentlemanly Act, the awesome feature film about the invasion of the Falkland Islands. He's done a number of other interesting movies, TV series, and documentaries, including the recent one about the murder of Susie Lamplugh, a very famous case in the UK, and others. So join me on Wednesday for that, Saturday for our friends in the North. I will be doing a gaming stream, possibly tomorrow, possibly on Sunday. I'll let you know. In the meantime, take care, and don't forget to ring the people that you care about. Tell them that you love them. And that's my thoughts on Killers of a Flower Moon.